Alright guys, MistrBrit here. Thought it was time to dig out the old hat and sunglasses, do a quick vlog. I've been ill for a few days, had a bad cold, but I'm recovering now and really feeling more belligerent and in more of a fighting mood than ever. And you know, that goes for fighting corrupt governments and the lies and manipulations of the mainstream media, but it also goes for exposing the lies and the deceptions of the so-called truth movement as well. You might have seen recently I've been doing quite a few videos like questioning Alex Jones, people like that, questioning people on YouTube who are seen as some kind of authority on the truth when in fact they're anything but. And you know, this always prompts people to say, oh, you know, this is just infighting, this is what the powers that be want, which I think is just the biggest load of bullshit ever, you know. I mean, if you're prepared to ignore lies and manipulations and deception wherever you come across it, even if that's in this so-called truth movement, then you're not true to the truth. You're living a lie. So, you know, lies and deceptions have to be confronted everywhere, whether that's from politicians, whether that's from the mainstream media, or whether that's from the so-called truth movement, the alternative media, you know. Just because the truth movement has that name doesn't necessarily mean that it's spreading the truth or that it's a movement. You know, there are lots of channels on YouTube which call themselves truth channels, run by people who consider themselves to be truthers, and you look through the videos and a lot of it is just nonsense. You know, a lot of it you could analyze and simply debunk, you know, and that goes for videos on the channels of some of the biggest YouTubers. There are videos on there that are presented as truth, which have been parts of which have been discredited and which simply aren't true. So should we not call these people to task for having videos on there that aren't true when they're presenting it as the truth? Because what if somebody outside of the so-called truth movement sees that video and then finds out that it's not true, and then they realize that the truth movement isn't in fact a truth movement, it's a sensationalist movement oftentimes. You know, this is a big issue, the sensationalism, the fear-mongering, because there are many channels on YouTube, including some big channels, thousands and thousands of subscribers, who exist. Their existence is based around getting videos, uploading them, you know, putting a fear-mongering title, false flag alert imminent, exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark, you know, nuclear disaster, radiation about to hit the US, etc. It's fear-mongering, sensationalism. What is this adding to this truth movement or a quest for truth? It's not. If these people think that putting these videos out day after day, sometimes several a day, you know, focusing on the latest conspiracy theory, focusing on the latest disaster, maybe adding their own twist, oftentimes not. If they think that's, you know, leading us closer to truth, or more importantly, leading us closer to change, then they must be deluded. It's not, you know. I think some change can be started by information on YouTube, but that information has to be credible. You know, it has to be critically thought through, has to be accurate, has to be referenced. If it's speculative, you have to say so. You can't present things as the truth when it's speculation. I mean, that's just, you know, that's just dishonest. So yeah, I mean, big issues with the truth movement, to be honest. And for me, again, it comes down to political action, direct action. By political action, I don't mean joining a political party. I mean taking action against the political system and against politicians and governments. Peaceful non-compliance. I'm not talking about violence against people here. I'm talking about peaceful non-compliance. Protest, but also direct action like sit-ins of banks and stuff like that. Incredibly important. I think way more important than putting out videos on YouTube. So that's another question you have to ask yourself. Of these so-called truth channels on YouTube who are so big, you know, I can think of several that have 25,000 subscribers, going up to over 100,000 subscribers. That's a lot of people that they've got the ability to communicate with, and these people who operate the channels could be mobilizing their subscribers to take direct action in real life, or at least to try and change themselves. But oftentimes you'll find that they're just putting out these, you know, fear-mongering videos, sensational videos, which are, you know, often just pure entertainment. So these channels could be, yeah, literally organizing people, mobilizing them, getting them to go on the streets, getting them to take direct action, getting them to contact politicians, to contact the mainstream media, getting them to do their own vlogs, to start finding their own voice so they have the confidence to take it a step further. But I don't see that from a lot of these big channels. Is that what truth's about? I don't think so. Yeah. So, you know, I try and play my part in that. I do the resistance radio thing, and we're all for protests and direct action, trying to encourage people to do that. Myself and a few others from Resistance Radio are going to be at the royal wedding protests. And, you know, we've got no intent of doing any kind of damage or, you know, offending people who are just watching this protest, but we're definitely going to try and educate some people in a peaceful way, in a friendly way, hopefully. That's what these big channels could be getting people to do, to go out and do that. Just don't see it. But anyway, yeah, if you're interested in, you know, meeting up in London on the 29th of April with me and the Resistance Radio people, drop me a private message and I'll, you know, get some details to you. I might talk about that tomorrow in the MistrBrit show. You can find a link to my radio show in the info box below. So keep it real, guys. Question everything. Question your supposed leaders. Question the supposed, you know, truth gurus on YouTube. But most of all, question yourself. Question what your own motives are. Question why you're doing something yourself. And think critically, you know, analyze everything. Don't believe anything without checking it out for yourself. And I think we'll get closer to the truth and hopefully towards some kind of movement. So then the name Truth Movement can be an accurate one. Cheers, guys.